In this video, we're going to talk about She-Spawn versus Jason Wynn. The Scorch team are now the pawns and Jason Wynn has the upper hand, and we're going to see exactly what I'm talking about at the end of this issue. Alrighty then, this is a comic book review of The Scorched, issue number 29, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. So previously in The Scorched, with the surprise return of Jason Wynn, Jessica Priest and the Scorch team take on the offensive. So we start off with this with a little backstory of Charlotte Lynn. For as long as she remembered, Charlotte Lynn wanted to be a spy, watching James Bond and Mission Impossible movies endlessly, thinking that someday that will be her. Later, she graduated with the highest marks from Quantico and had her pick of offers from the CIA, FBI, and Homeland Security. Girl had a lot of street cred, you know? It was at the recently reactivated agency she took a job thinking this was where she would achieve greatness. Her most recent promotion named her an operations manager, where she was to report directly to the agency director, Jason Wynn. Then Frank Bishop showed up. Remember him from a few issues back? Cause that bro was no news, no good news at least, cause he was working with the Eviscerator. And that was the end of Charlotte Lynn. But at the same time, also a beginning. So Frank Bishop tells the Eviscerator it's clear, you can come out now. This plan of yours, Bishop, had better work. From the dank shadows, out slithered the Eviscerator. And we can only wonder what they're trying to do. Oh, says Frank Bishop, it'll work, but I'm afraid it's also going to be quite painful. And he does this thing on her. So she's like, I've lost my power, so just get on with it anyway. And Frank Bishop's like, girl, just be thankful that my magic is still intact. Now it's time you clean this stuff up. So now we see a newly reformed Charlotte Lynn with the Eviscerator inside. So she says Malboza transformed her brother once as punishment. I trust this won't be permanent. I can't stand the ugliness of humans. And Frank Bishop's like, girl, I assure you, your form is quite pleasing by human standards, but for now, you're Charlotte Lynn. Your job is to take down the hero hunt, and with Medieval Spawn missing, time is critical. I don't like this. It doesn't matter. Go on with the plan and shut up and do your job, right? So back to Jason Wynn now. Taking down Medieval's teammates is her best option of finding Medieval Spawn because she wants revenge on Medieval Spawn. Weeks later, this Charlotte Lynn achieved what the real one could never, getting herself promoted to serve as Jason Wynn's right hand simply by uttering a single sentence. Sir, I'm happy to report the Scorched are no more. And we get to see the end result of all this. A little bit of foreshadowing, but it is going to happen. But before we get there, we have to go back to see how we got there. So Jason Wynn's like, all right, Charlotte Wynn, tell me everything. And she debriefs Jason Wynn on what's going on. As you know, sir, the Scorched have been using information they acquired from our server warehouse. And that's referencing the last issue when the Scorched broke into Jason Wynn's warehouse. That's when they discovered that he's alive. And they also got some information as to what all is going on. So Lynn continues on. Since Jason Wynn, you revealed yourself to Jessica Priest, her team have been on a warpath. Well, today, thanks to the use of overkill tech and your new O-Killer soldiers, we decided to counterattack in full force. And you know, based on this panel right here, it's not looking good. But before I could go any further, I just gotta let you know that this comic book review is sponsored by coffee. So if you'd like to buy a boy a cup of coffee, link in the description or donate to the super thanks. And also don't forget to check out RatedComics.com for some really cool limited print Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Now it's time to get back into the content. And Jessica Priest in their fight is like, yo, I need a status report. And Medieval Spawn's like, Wynn sent his army mark. We're under attack. Get ready. There may be more of them, says Jessica Wynn. They are, says Hunt. There's too many of them. And Jason Wynn is just smirking like, oh yeah, and those aren't the only ones in our arsenal. Let me show you what else we have at our disposal. That's what he tells Charlotte Lynn. So he goes in and he tells her, I assume you read the files on Overkill. Oh, I did, Charlotte Wynn says. I did. His tech was created specifically to Nicholas Roca's biology and his brain patterns only. And previous attempts to mimic this tech led to rejection of any cybernetic implants, usually fatally, so for more of the subject. So we kind of screwed on this. The problem was in the transplant process. It rejected because the cybernetics couldn't align with their host while tuned to Overkill's brain. So the solution was this. We are supposed to control Overkill's brain, that way we can control the subjects. So back to the battle, Jessica Priest knows what's going on. She's like, oh hell no, they're using the same tech that we've seen on Overkill. So Jason Wynn goes on to narrating what's going on. Overkill has power, but his power has been unreliable in the past. But this time we have complete control over these O killers. They're not nearly as strong as the original counterpart was, but their strength comes from the numbers. And we see this battle going on, and the Scorched, they're losing this. You could tell they're losing this. And according to Jason Wynn, not only is this, they're cheaper and easier to produce. So the more we can produce because they're cheap to do so, and their strength is in their numbers, well, you know, that's making them disposable, but that's okay. We need to be disposable. And on top of that, they're self-destructing. You can tell they're just pummeling the heck out of Redeemer and the Haunt. So self-destruct has been activated. Get the heck out of here, says Jessica Priest, where her morning has came too late, and she's gasping and she's in pain, and Redeemer's like, oh, over here, and these gunshots come up from behind, and they go down for the count. And we can see that it's Frank Bishop and 2 of his O killers, and he's like, hello there, Priest. And Jessica Priest is like, oh, hail to the knob, Bishop. She's seen him months ago in a church with the Viscerator, and that was going back to the Scorch issue number 26, which we did cover. And also, I'll put the playlist at the end of this video if you ever want to just go back and watch any of the reviews on the Scorched. And Jessica Priest is like, I've killed you once and I'll do it again. Oh, hell no, says Frank Bishop. Save the bravado. You're depowered, Jessica, and outnumbered. You can't win this fight. Luckily, Wynn needs you alive. He'll allow your friends to live in exchange for what, says Jessica. That's easy. You work for Wynn again. And she has no choice, no way out of this, so she has to agree to that. And Frank Bishop is like, that's a shame. I really wanted to kill you today, Jessica. Payback for killing me. So he puts some tranquilizer in her, and she just goes down for the count. And Frank Bishop, all he can do is hope for that what Jason Wynn has in store for her is worse than death. Pick her up, he says, and take her outside. So Jason Wynn wants to know, is Jessica Priest being prepped? Oh, she is, says Charlotte Lynn. She's in surgery as you ordered. Everything is proceeding as you wish, Director Wynn. As for the other 2, they're still alive, though I can't say Redeemer and Haunt will have much of a life after this. One last thing, there's another member of their team we haven't dealt with, and Jason Wynn knows exactly who she's talking about. Medieval Spawn. He's aware that he's still missing, but he's not going to worry about him right now. It's not that, sir, says Charlotte Wynn. We haven't been able to unscramble their signals. Someone has been communicating with the Scorch, providing them with technical and logistical support. Find them and shut them down, says Jason Wynn. I won't let some tech nerd put a dent into what we're doing here. The actual Scorch team has been paralyzed. I need it to stay that way. So Mark is like, she spawn. Where are you guys? Redeemer, Haunt, come in. Besides, says Jason Wynn, it's not a threat if there's no one to communicate with. And that's true, because Mark Rosen can't communicate with him and he can't get in. And that is where we have to end this issue of the Scorch, issue number 29. She Spawn versus Jason Wynn. The Scorch team are now the pawns of Jason Wynn. That's how we got there. So what you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. Also, link in the description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other limited print Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Lastly, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And with all that being said, thank you again for watching. Until next time.